I went my whole life not wearing the color yellow because one time when I was a kid, my mom made a comment that yellow did not complement my skin color. I believed that for years and years until one day I was in college and I decided, I'm gonna wear a yellow dress. And guess what? I felt so good in that yellow dress. I met my husband wearing a yellow halter top and he remembers that to this day, 20 years later. And yellow is one of my favorite colors to wear. I feel like I'm full of sunshine and I love wearing it. When I think about that, it always reminds me that that's kind of how life is, that sometimes we're missing out on things and we don't even know it. When I think back to the years that I spent in an obese body, when I was fat, I did not know it. If you're new here, I am Megan. I've lost 125 pounds using compounded tirzepatide. I started in August 2023 weighing 243 pounds and I've been maintaining my weight right around 118 pounds for over a year now. I really didn't know what I was missing out on because I had this tunnel vision of just living my life. I didn't even think about what was out there and what I could be missing out on because I just assumed that whatever that was wasn't for me. And my life looks completely different today than it did 2 years ago. Today, in this video, I want to share 21 things that I never did when I was fat. Not just habits, but choices and mindsets that I wasn't willing to consider before. That together, these things changed everything. A lot of the things that I started doing along this weight loss journey and still continue to do today to maintain my weight, when I was fat, I thought they were bad. I thought if I thought about protein, that was me obsessing over what I was eating. I thought if I weighed myself, that meant that I cared too much about my weight. If I went with a sugar-free option, I was buying into diet culture. I thought that nothing would ever really work for me to lose the weight. And honestly, without GLP-1s, maybe nothing would have. But even with the medication, I had to shift my mindset to believe that I was worth the effort, to open up and be willing to try new things that I previously thought weren't for me. I had to try these things that I once rejected, not because that they weren't for me, just because I wasn't willing to try before. Some of these habits might sound simple and some of them might surprise you, but every single one represents a moment where I stopped saying, that's not for me, and started saying, what if it could be? Before we get into the list, if you are on your own health journey, if you are thinking about using a GLP-1 or using a GLP-1 medication to help you lose weight, feel better, gain energy, and get back to your true self, I hope you'll subscribe to my channel because that is what I am all about sharing here. On to the list of 21 things that I never did when I was fat. Number 1 is weigh myself. I avoided the scale at all costs. I literally didn't weigh myself for many years. Right when I started gaining weight, I was doing diet bet where you were required to get on the scale. You had to have like a secret code word. You put it on the scale and you had to enter that in. And then at the end of the challenge, it was like 6 weeks or something, you would have to weigh yourself again. I did that kind of while I was gaining weight. I gained about 75 pounds in a year. So it was like intense weight gain really fast. And once I started noticing that, that's when I did the diet bet. I am a pretty competitive person in that sense. And I thought, well, maybe that would work for me. I had done step bet before and no, diet bet did not work for me. I ended the challenge 20 pounds heavier than when I started the challenge. And I just didn't have any tools to help me keep the weight off. Another time I weighed myself was I was doing Orange Theory. I was really heavy into it. If you're unfamiliar with Orange Theory, it is a workout gym where you go and you do running, you do weightlifting, and you do rowing, and you kind of cycle through those things. And they have what they call a transformation challenge. And I did do that. And I did really well at that. I lost like 30 pounds during the transformation challenge. I think it's 12 weeks. And as soon as it was over, I gained it all back. But I did use the scale during that. But other than that, if I didn't have somebody telling me to weigh myself and I had to submit it to somebody, or I was at the doctor's office where they were weighing me, I never weighed myself. I felt like I just wanted to put that out of my mind and then it didn't really count. And now things are so different because I weigh myself every single day. I've weighed myself every single day for over 2 years now, and it gives me so much information and data and helps me disconnect emotionally from the weight on the scale. I can just know that that is the weight and it goes up and it goes down. And by doing it every day, I know that it just fluctuates and it gives me a lot of freedom, but also information. So if I notice it going up a few days, weeks in a row, I can make adjustments to my life so that I am bringing that back into its equilibrium. Number 2 is count calories. I thought by counting calories, that meant you were obsessed with food. I am still not somebody who tracks every meal that I'm eating and counts my calories all the time. That works for some people, and it might be a tool that is useful for you, but I'm a big believer in at least doing it some of the time. That it's a great tool. If you're not finding success on your weight loss journey and you want to figure out what is going on, you have to have data to do that. Counting calories doesn't mean you're obsessed and you're trying to eat as little as possible to exist. That's not what counting calories means. And I think that's the lie that I had told myself before. But it just means that you're trying to observe what is happening in your life so that, again, you can make an informed decision on making adjustments. If you are not losing weight, that means you're not in a calorie deficit. And there's only one good way to get in a calorie deficit, and that is to eat less calories. Along those same lines, number 3 is thinking about protein. I never thought about protein a day in my life while I was fat. I ate what I wanted to eat. I did not think about balancing my meals. I ate carbs for breakfast, carbs for lunch, and carbs for dinner. And I did not care one bit about what I was eating. Now that I am a healthy weight, I do eat what I want, but I do pay more attention to what I'm eating. I make sure that I'm getting about 30 grams of protein at every meal. It helps keep me full and satisfied. I know it's feeding my muscles. It helps me think about food as fuel and not food as a source of escape or a source of self-care. It is just me taking care of my body, eating what I need to eat. Number 4 is eating low carb or low sugar options. I used to roll my eyes at diet food. I was a die-hard real food enthusiast. I was so strict with the kind of foods that my family ate. I tried to eat as natural as possible. We would eat whole wheat flour. I would eat pure maple syrup, honey, raw sugar, and all of those things are great. There are no foods that are good or bad. Food does not have morality. Food is fuel. But if you're trying to take the best care of your body, you have to take into account how your body processes food. And we all process food differently. I process food a lot different than my kids do. So I can't expect that we can all eat exactly the same thing and come out with our bodies processing it in exactly the same way. I had a disordered and dysfunctional body. Something was going on in my body that made me gain 75 pounds in a year. Something was not right, and my body was not handling carbs and sugar the way that a teenager's body does. Making different choices and choosing a lower carb bread sometimes, that's not bad. That's doing what's best for me. And I think that was just a complete mindset shift that I had to come into. And nowadays I have both kinds of bread in my house. I love low carb sola bread, and I will use it to make myself French toast. If I go to a restaurant, I will order a regular French toast and eat it. If we're having soup and grilled cheese for lunch, I will enjoy a grilled cheese with my sola bread. But if I make homemade biscuits, I'll enjoy regular old homemade biscuits. So it's nice to have options and to have balance and not fear low carb or low sugar options. If you enjoy them and it adds to your life and it gives you more balance, that's what they're there for. Number 5 is take walks. I never thought of walks as exercise before. I thought of walks as just something you did to get from point A to point B. Now I love my walks so much. I have shared before that I started my fitness journey by taking walks. I just started with a walk around the block. It started growing and growing from there until I was walking for like 90 minutes a day. I love walking with friends, with my family. My husband and I will decompress after he finishes a long day of work. And walking is just a way to socialize, exercise, soak in the sunshine. It's an amazing thing. And I am so glad that I opened myself up to be able to start walking. Number 6 is to eat a real breakfast. I used to skip breakfast all the time when I was fat. And it was in the name of intermittent fasting. And then I would be ravenous by the time lunch and dinner came around and eating everything I could and hiding in the pantry, eating food or going through a drive-through to make up for the calories that my body needed. Now, almost every day I'm eating some sort of breakfast. Quite often it is a protein shake. I'm just not super hungry in the morning. So a protein shake works for me to get the nutrition I need without having to hassle with making a bunch of food and eating it. Honestly, the kinds of foods that I like for breakfast are like pancakes and French toast, and I tend not to eat those too often now. But when I do eat food for breakfast, I'll choose like a protein pancake or something like that where it is delicious, it's something I like to eat, and I'm fueling my body with the fuel that it needs to live this full, amazing life that I have. Number 7 is choosing to eat at home versus eating at a restaurant. Before, I never would have chose to stay home to eat a meal. Eating out felt like treating myself. It felt like an escape and the only way that I could feel good about eating. And now I love eating at home. I feel like it is a labor of love to feed my family and myself healthy foods. And quite often we'll be like, should we go out to dinner? I'll say, no, I'll just make something here at home. Number 8 is to delay food. If I felt even a little twinge of hunger, I got sent into a panic. If I even thought about the possibility of having hunger, I would want to eat something so that I could prevent hunger from happening. If I saw something I liked, I would have to eat it. I never thought about, oh, let me eat my meal first and save that for later to see if I'm still hungry. Delaying food never crossed my mind. And now that I am a healthy weight, it is kind of a way of life for me that I try to enjoy my 3 meals a day. I do love sweet treats and enjoy dessert, but many times I will just delay those and I don't worry about being hungry later because I know that hunger is not an emergency and I will survive. Number 9 is to make meals that I actually like. I have 3 kids and my husband works from home and we homeschool, so I'm cooking 3 meals a day, 7 days a week. That's a lot of cooking, and I would be cooking for other people, cooking things that they wanted to eat all the time, and then feeling like I was slaving over cooking for them, so I deserved to go through a drive-through instead of eating that meal that I didn't really want to eat. And now I definitely do things differently. I make food that I want to eat, and I will separate out the ingredients so that my family can choose to make a meal with those ingredients how they want. But for the most part, I'm doing the cooking, so I'm gonna make things I like to eat. Number 10 is to drink water and electrolytes. I am somebody who just was never naturally thirsty. I would not be surprised if some days I had 10 to 15 ounces of water. I rarely had a cup of water and drank anything. I would drink diet soda, but other than that, I didn't drink anything. Now I start every day with about 30 ounces of water. I do electrolytes if I'm running or it's super hot and I'm sweating. And I love how I feel when I'm hydrated. My skin looks better. I have more energy. I feel better. Everything in the body is working better. And that's just something that I never thought about before. Number 11 is to drink protein shakes. I never would have had a protein shake before. Thought they were gross and completely unnecessary. And now I've been drinking one almost every day for over 2 years. They are such a convenient and easy way to get that fuel into your body in a quick and portable way. And I love being able to have protein shakes that I enjoy at the ready so that I can have them when I don't have time to cook an actual meal. I use health code protein powder and it is super delicious. I use the chocolate macadamia nut. I love it. It's my favorite one. It's the only one that I found that tastes good. If I need something where I'm running out the door, I will use the Fairlife 30-gram nutrition plan shakes that I find at Costco. Number 12 of things I would have never done when I was fat was restrict myself from having seconds or thirds. It was just such a habit that I would fill my plate and eat it and then go back and get more. And now I try to put the amount of food on my plate that matches my hunger level, and then I will eat. I will take a minute and I will think, do I really want seconds? And honestly, most of the time is no, I don't. I have gotten really good at matching the amount of food that I should be eating to what I'm putting into my body and making sure that that's all in balance. And I think before, my body was just so out of whack that I could just keep eating and eating. I would eat seconds and thirds and I would never feel satisfied or full. And if I felt it, I wasn't paying attention to it. Number 13 was to skip eating. If food was in front of me, I was going to eat it. At a party, at a dinner, over at a friend's house, at my house when my kids bake something. Anytime there was food, I ate it. It didn't matter if I was hungry, if I liked it. It was just an automatic, robotic situation where I put the food in my mouth. Now I pay attention to my body. The GLP-1 in my brain helps slow things down where I'm able to make decisions and decide, do I like this food? Is it going to make me feel good? Am I hungry? Do I want to eat this now? Should I save some for later? I can do all of those processing things in my brain, where before there was absolutely none of that. Number 14 is to throw away my kids' food. If you're a mom and you have kids, you know that there's some food waste that happens. And I used to just clean my kids' plate. So I would have already eaten my meal and probably seconds, maybe thirds, and then I would finish whatever was on their plate. And it just felt like a waste not to do that. Now I know that I don't need that food. I've already eaten the food that I need for fuel, and what's left on their plate, it's better to go in the trash than into my body where it's going to be stored as fat. One way that we combat this now is we just go with smaller portions to start with. I serve my kids what we jokingly call a toddler portion, and it's just a little tiny bit of whatever we're eating so they can taste it, see if it's something that they like, if it's something that they want more of, because with kids, you never know. Their tastes change day to day. So this keeps us from wasting food. Number 15 is to save a tiny bit of leftovers. If there was like a little bit of anything, not even like a sweet thing, it'd be like a little bit of broccoli or a little bit of potato salad or a little bit of rice left, instead of putting that in the fridge or throwing it away, I would have just eaten it. I would have felt like, oh, it's like 3 bites. I might as well just eat it. And again, that was just, if food was in front of me, I had to eat it. And I didn't have the processing power that I have now, that I have a GLP-1 in my brain that allows me to slow down and think, I don't need to eat that. I'm not hungry. I am full. I'm satisfied. But if it's something that I like and enjoy, why don't I save it for later? So I have little tiny Tupperware. I have like little 1 cup Tupperwares, and I will just put a little bit of whatever in the fridge, and then a few of those makes a nice lunch. Number 16 is to eat at night. I had a diet culture mentality where you're not supposed to eat late, you're not supposed to eat past 8 p.m., whatever it is. I'm supposed to be fasting. So I would do everything I could do to make sure that I was really full by that point. I didn't want to be hungry past 8 p.m., so I made sure that I was really full. I ate plenty of dinner, I had dessert, I had my snacks. And now I don't do that at all. I try to eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I usually have some sort of little dessert or snack after dinner. And if I'm hungry at 8:30 after I put my kids to bed, I will eat something. I'll make myself a yogurt bowl, or I will eat a bowl of cereal. And I don't feel bad about that because I'm listening to my body and I'm honoring my hunger cues and my fullness cues. And I want to give my body the fuel that it needs. So I'm not going to preemptively preload it so that I can have this arbitrary time of no food. I would rather just listen to my body now and make sure that I'm eating what my body needs. Number 17 is to take time for myself versus going through the drive-thru. Going through the drive-thru for me used to feel like self-care. It was like an act of love for myself because I didn't have to cook the food because I'm cooking so much at home for my kids, and it felt like it was a treat for me to get to eat something that somebody else cooked. And now I realize that that food was not serving me well. I got a real quick dopamine hit when I was eating it. I would always feel bad, feel tired, get indigestion afterward. And I was always right back where I started before I hit the drive-thru, right after I finished eating. So it wasn't serving me in the way that I thought it was. Now I know that self-care is actually taking care of myself. It is spending time with myself, doing things that I love doing, spending time with people I enjoy spending time with. So instead of going through a drive-thru, now I have time for thrift shopping, which is something that I really enjoy. I have time for pickleball. I have time for reading books and going for walks and listening to books. All of those things are real forms of self-care for me that actually lift me up and build me up and last beyond the actual time that I'm doing them. It gives me energy and joy long after the activity stops, which is completely different than the kind of self-care I got going through a drive-thru. Number 18 is to buy clothes that fit my body. I used to squeeze into things that did not fit, and I would wait until I literally had nothing to wear to buy something. I was humiliated about going into a store to buy something in the size that I needed, so I would buy stuff on Amazon. It was unflattering, it didn't fit, it didn't look good, but it was the best I could do. And once I had a mindset shift, and this did not happen once I lost the weight, this happened when I was still 243 pounds. This was actually kind of the first step of self-love and self-care that started me on this weight loss journey. Was I joined Stitch Fix and I got clothes that fit my body. They have stylists and they have plus size clothes, and I got clothes that fit my body. And I remember getting the box for the first time and holding up the shorts and thinking, this is a size 2X and that's what I need to fit into. I think I got like a size 22 of shorts, and they were my favorite shorts, and I love them, and they fit so great, and I felt so confident and loved what I was wearing because I was actually getting stuff for myself that fit, because I was actually putting effort into dressing the body that I had, which meant that I could love that body that I had. And previously, before I got to that point, I had zero cares about what I was wearing because I had zero cares about myself. Number 19 is that sometimes I choose to eat a different meal than my family. And that's something I never would have done before because I was stuck in the mentality that we all need to be eating the same thing. With my kids, I did baby-led weaning, which is where you feed them the same food that you're eating. You don't do like traditional baby foods. And I was just really set on the idea of this family meal. And again, because I realize now that we all have different needs and our bodies all function in different ways, it's okay that we eat different things. So sometimes my kids will want to eat spaghetti and they will tell me, I don't want protein pasta. So I will make them regular spaghetti with regular pasta, and sometimes I'm just not feeling it. So I will eat leftovers, or I'll just eat some deli turkey and some vegetables. That doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean the food that they're eating is bad or that the food I'm eating is good or bad. Again, food has no morality, so we're just making different choices that work for our body, and I've learned to be okay with that. Number 20 is to eat cottage cheese. I had never heard of cottage cheese. It is just not something my family ate. I never knew what it was. I saw my husband eat it when we got married and I was disgusted. I had no idea what it was. It looked like lumpy curdled soup, and I went 20 years without eating it. And finally, somebody told me about Good Culture cottage cheese, and I tried it. I took a chance on it. I had it in the viral sweet potato bowl where you do like roasted sweet potatoes, ground beef, cottage cheese, hot honey, and it was delicious. Now I'll eat it with that. I'll eat it in a couple other ways. I like to eat it with my frozen mango that I like as like a little treat, but I am not somebody who's going to be just like eating buckets of cottage cheese or putting it in everything. I'm not going to be pureeing it into every sauce imaginable. I'm not that kind of person, but I'm glad I was willing to take a chance because the little cup of Good Culture cottage cheese is like 19 grams of protein, and you cannot beat that. And that brings me to my last point, number 21, to believe that I was worth the effort. I had to make this mindset shift. The point that I was in my life when I was gaining weight was that I was taking care of everybody else. I was trying to be the very best wife that I could. I was trying to be the best mom. I was building a business that was thriving and doing really well. And I was taking care of everybody else, but leaving myself in the dust. I truly did not believe that I mattered and that I was worth taking care of. It is so sad to think about now because I'm in such a different place. If you are going along in life, you might just not realize it, and you just don't know what you're missing and what's out there until you get to some sort of rock bottom point and you make a change in your life, and then your eyes are opened and you can truly see for the first time in a long time, or maybe the first time ever, but you can see what it means to take care of yourself and to believe that you are worth it, that you're worth the effort, that all of the care and love you're putting out into the world, that you have to do that to yourself first, and it will make the way that you're moving through the world even better. Losing 125 pounds on a GLP-1 changed my body, but doing the inner work is what changed my life. These 21 things are not rules, they're reminders. Every single one was a small act in believing in myself. And every time I made that choice, I built a version of myself I didn't even know could exist. And now it's your turn. You don't need my list. You don't need a perfect plan. You just need one thing, one small way you can make yourself a little healthier, a little better, a little stronger than yesterday. Do that thing. And when it feels natural, do the next one. That's how change happens, quietly, consistently in the small moments when you decide you are worth showing up for, because you are, and you always have been. So what is your yellow dress? What's the thing that you didn't think was for you, but you can go out and try? If this video resonated with you, please give it a like. It helps me in more ways than you know. It really helps more people find this message. And make sure to subscribe for more stories, tools, and motivation on your weight loss journey or your journey to your best self. And I would love to hear from you in a comment. Tell me one small change you've made lately that has made you your better self. Or tell me what your yellow dress moment was. What's something that you thought wasn't for you, but once you tried it, you fell in love? Your story might inspire someone else. Thank you so much for watching.